Hello, everybody, and thank you guys for joining us today. My name is Keith Deaton, and I'm the Director of Alumni Engagement here at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. I've been with the university for 14 years, and I oversee the East Coast and Central Alumni Networks, and also the major point of contact for worldwide alumni and worldwide students. So thank you for joining us. It is my pleasure to introduce Dr. John Watret, Chancellor for Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University Worldwide, as he provides leadership and strategic direction that fosters growth, maintains academic integrity, and promotes efficient operations for the worldwide headquarters located here in Daytona Beach, Florida, and the over 130 campus locations worldwide. Under his great leadership, the worldwide campus, which serves more than 23,000 students annually, has earned the top 2 ranks in the country by US News World Report for best online bachelor programs, and has held a rank in the top 5 for the last 7 years. Dr. Watret is also a licensed private pilot. He holds a PhD and a Master of Science in Mathematics from both the Texas A&M University and a bachelor's degree with honors from Heriot-Watt University in Edinburgh, Scotland. We will have a Q&A after all the presentation, so please send your questions through the chat function below, and we will get to those. And at this time, it is my pleasure to welcome Dr. Watret.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, whichever time zone you happen to be in. It's a pleasure to be here with you to talk about Embry-Riddle and specifically the worldwide campus. As Keith indicated, I've been with Embry-Riddle for a long time. This is my 31st year with Embry-Riddle. I started in 1989 on the Daytona campus in the College of Arts and Science teaching mathematics. And was there for about 10 years in the faculty ranks before moving to administration on the Daytona campus and then the worldwide campus. So I've had a unique perspective of what Embry-Riddle is over the years and seen a lot of change in Embry-Riddle over the years and to where we are today as a premier aviation aerospace university in the world in what we do. We have the 3 campuses, Daytona Beach, Prescott, which are the traditional residential campuses, and we're very familiar with that, where majority of the students are coming out of high school to college, living in the dorms and participating in that residential environment. I'm currently oversee the worldwide campus, which is more non-traditional students, both young and into middle-aged, that are pursuing the degrees. Sometimes at a later age, it's their first time in college to do that. But you know, the worldwide campus, as Keith indicated, we've got over 23,000 headcount in terms of students taking it, and the majority of those are part-time students. We're in 125 locations across the globe. Many, about 96 on military locations, and then the rest in civilian. And then we've got 3 wholly owned subsidiaries of Embry-Riddle, with one in Embry-Riddle in Europe, in Berlin, and then in Singapore, and then South Central America, which I'll go into in a moment. So, you know, we've come to this great place in terms of Embry-Riddle as an aviation aerospace university. We are ranked number 1, number 2 for the last 5 years in the US News and World Report for online bachelor degree education. And for the last 5 years, we've been ranked number 1 for online programs for veterans. So we've come to a great place in what we do, and we're proud to have many, you know, alums coming from the military. You know, we still have that 23,000 students that we have. About 50% of them are active duty military, and then the other half are civilians in different companies across the US and the world. The alumni pool is great. I mean, the Embry-Riddle, the world from Daytona Prescott, we've got a large alumni network there. From the worldwide campus, just because of the size of number of students that go through our programs, we've got a large number there. And interesting enough, because of our ties to the military, we've got over 31,000 alums that have come through become alumni of Embry-Riddle while they were active duty in the military. And so we're very proud of that and serving the military on that. Some other proud facts. Of that 31,000, we've got 114 general officers. That's 1 star to 4 stars that have graduated from Embry-Riddle, majority coming through the worldwide campus. So that is an impressive, on their way to where they went in the military, they came through Embry-Riddle for their education. And then of the 6 astronauts that have graduated from Embry-Riddle, 4 of them are worldwide graduates. And we also have the notable chairman of the NTSB, the Honorable Robert Sumo, who's also a graduate of the worldwide campus. And so we're very proud of that. And truly, we're proud of everyone that graduates from Embry-Riddle because it's an opportunity for them to get into a great industry. The aviation aerospace industry global is good. Because of the pandemic, we're seeing a downturn in industry, but as you look back in history, the aviation industry has its ups and downs, but always continues to grow and will always continue to be better after each of these events. By 2-3 years, we're going to see the industry come back, and partly because the people are mobile. People want to travel. People, and we see that now when you talk to people that have been housebound or in closed communities during the pandemic, they're eager to get out. So once this is behind us, we'll see the aviation industry pick up again, and it'll be a great time for young people to get into the industry. And so when people ask about the aviation industry and whether it's a good opportunity to get into, I say yes, this is a time to do it, because by 4 years' time, by the time you enter, get your degree, get your education, the industry will be back and they'll be looking for people like you that's come through Embry-Riddle. So worldwide campus, we're familiar with the traditional residential, but what is the worldwide campus and how did it evolve into this award-winning online and delivery of aviation programs outside that traditional environment? Well, this year, we're celebrating our 50th anniversary of what Worldwide is now. It's gone through several name changes to that point and the evolution of what Embry-Riddle is. And so what I'd like to do is just go through, highlight some key years as we've gone from our beginnings 50 years ago to where we are now. And we started back in 1970. We had just, Jack Hunt, the president at the time, had just successfully got accreditation to change Embry-Riddle Aeronautical Institute to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. And that was in Daytona Beach. And he wanted to branch out and service the military and provide education to the military. So in 1970, he established the first residence center in Fort Rucker. 20 students, Army students, were offered courses there, and it was very successful. That interest in 20 continued. Then in 1971, believe it or not, Jack Hunt took us back to Miami because we came up from Miami to Daytona Beach. But then in 1971, he created the Miami Education Consortium. And that was a joint program with Barry College in Miami. And through the years, there was about 1,200 graduates of that program. Many of them would take their general education courses with Barry College and then take the aviation courses with Embry-Riddle at the time. And that was just the residence center. And then in 72 to 74, we increased 2 more to Fort Campbell in Kentucky. And then our first Air Force base was in Homestead Air Force Base in Florida. That was the entry into serving the Air Force. And Air Force now actually is the largest provider that we have in terms of our to the military there. So the creation of those with the Miami Consortium and the 3 military bases the College of Continuing Education was established in 1974, and that was the beginning of it. It was a continuing education from the Daytona campus, and that is when the Bachelor of Science in Professional Aeronautics was started. That was the first degree program that was established in this College of Continuing Education to be delivered out to the military folks and others. And that program still exists now. It's changed its name to the Bachelor of Science in Aeronautics, but it's one of the largest, or the largest, bachelor's program we have across the university now. And 1975 was an important year because that's when the distance learning delivery mode started for Embry-Riddle. It was the independent studies, and it was a course in a box. So all the materials and the books were shipped out to a student who would work on it, and they would mail it back using snail mail, and the courses worked. And as part of that, also in 1975 with independent studies, we opened the first residence center in Germany, in Mannheim, and Coleman Barracks in Mannheim is our entry into serving the military in Europe. And then from 75 to 79, 15 centers were opened in Europe and 20 in the US. And and around 76 is when the Masters of Aeronautical Science was established as the first graduate degree for Embry-Riddle. So we had those two in the mid 70s was those two key degrees, which are still the largest degrees offered at the university. So then in 1978, Jack Hunt expanded Embry-Riddle to the West Coast and established the Prescott campus in Prescott, Arizona. It was Prescott College, and he bought that property and created Embry-Riddle Prescott on the western side. And so in 79, he created what he called a new single university multi-campus concept. So a new single university multi-campus concept. And so he had Daytona campus, Prescott campus, and then what he called the collection, because we'd been in Europe and everything, it was the international campus. So the international campus was created in 79, along with Daytona and Prescott. Also in 79, the distance learning took a leap forward. Instead of having a course in a box with all the books and everything sent out, audio cassette enhanced courses started. So the faculty were able to record lectures onto audio cassettes, and as I speak out, I'm sure there's some of the alums, the recent alums, audio cassettes would be a strange feature now in terms of what they were, but it helped us deliver our course and create that distance learning as we move forward. Moving forward to 1984. By 1984, the international campus of Embry-Riddle served over 4,500 part-time students through distance learning and 85 residence centers, both in the US and in Europe at the time. So it was starting to grow, and that distance learning concept was a key part of it. But also at those 85 residence centers, we delivered face-to-face traditional courses with a network of adjunct faculty that were working through that to deliver to the courses. 1993 became another key year for us. That was the first, we started moving from audio cassettes to videotape. The old VHS videotape lectures were there. And also in 1993, we delivered what has become the first online course. It was a very rudimentary web-based bulletin board, beginnings of the internet, but it was a web-based bulletin board that the students were able to interact in a chat type feature with the instructor. And so that was back in 1993 that we did that along with our videotape. So the students were now able to see the instructor and see who was talking to them, giving the lectures and the videotape, and that kept going. A great advance for it. And I remember still going over to which in '94 created the extended campus. We moved from the international campus and was called the extended campus. And it had over 100 residence centers and teaching sites in 32 states and 5 European countries. And those video, in a room in the headquarters of Extended Campus, there was just a whole room filled with VHS videotapes and audio cassette tapes of all these courses that went through. So that held true from '94 right till 1999 is when we went fully online. The LMS started coming in. We started working as a beta site for Blackboard, and then we had full implementation of the Blackboard learning management system in 2003. And that's really when we can say that we started providing a fully asynchronous course out to the world and to all our students in the worldwide and in the then extended campus. So that by that time in 2006 comes along, and that's when we created the worldwide campus. So that's at that time the worldwide campus was created, and that's where we are now. So it came from those early times of a single residence center in Rutger to what the worldwide campus there. And that's when we started looking at and really developing our online production and really developing the courses in an online way. And we started building that out. So other things that happened in there is in 2007, we opened Berlin as a European civilian location to serve this. So that was the start of Berlin to do that. And then later on in 2011 is when we looked to Asia, because Asia was the fastest growing the aviation industry. And we knew that Singapore, which was the hub of aviation in Southeast Asia, they were growing and they wanted education in all manners of it. So we opened a campus in Singapore in 2011, and that campus now is really moving forward. It's got almost 550 full-time students. It's very much like a traditional residential campus. The students are coming out of high school, or they're coming out, there's still compulsory military service for men in Singapore, so they have to go through that for 2 years after high school, and then they go to college. So it's the young students taking a full-time traditional load in Singapore and continues to grow. And then South Central America, we were going back to our roots. In 1943, John Paul Riddle took Embry-Riddle down to Brazil, to São Paulo, Brazil, to help the Brazilian Air Force in the war effort in terms of training pilots, training mechanics, and other sundry courses associated with aviation at that time. And they were down there from 43 to 47, which really established the Brazilian Air Force Academy equivalent in Brazil. So in 2016, we went back to Brazil and with Embry-Riddle South Central America, located in São Paulo, Brazil, and we've been running certificate and short courses to the aviation industry, the airlines, and also to the equivalent to the FAA, ANAC, and SAC in Brazil, and it's been very successful. So that is given us an opportunity to be truly a worldwide campus in terms of what we do. But it's an online piece that started to grow in 2000, from 2007, 2008 is when we started really to develop the instructional design and development and work with our faculty. So we were, if you look back in history and look at the sign, from 2006-07, we were serving almost 80% of our courses were taught face-to-face, with only about 20% using distance learning and into the beginnings of the online asynchronous delivery of it. And almost 75% of the students then were military. They were active duty military at the time. As we have moved forward and we moved to now, we're at about 52% active duty military, 48% civilian in our courses. And then by 2010, we started to see a shift because of the quality of our online education and the development and working with our faculty. In 2010, we had that cross. We crossed over from delivering more face-to-face courses and started delivering more online courses. And by now, from that point in 2010 to where we are now in 2020, we're delivering 92% of all our courses are delivered online, and the rest are delivered face-to-face or using Vision, which is using technology such as Zoom, and we use Zoom for the delivery of that, to deliver a synchronous version of our courses to the students, and then there's a blended format on it. And that was an evolution, not totally planned on it. We wanted to provide online education and be good at it, but most of the students saw the benefits of the flexibility of going into an online environment, and really propelled us to that part of where we are now. And then that's when we started to see, we had the positive comments about our online delivery. And then in 2012, we submitted for US News and World Report ranking. At that time, we came back unranked, but we persevered and learned from what we had made mistakes in. In 2013, we submitted again, we were ranked number 94. And from that point on, 94, we moved from there. The next year, we shot up to number 5. And from that point on, we have stayed in the top 5 rankings of US News and World Report. And as indicated earlier, 5 years in a row, we've either been number 1 and number 2 for online delivery of bachelor's degrees. So it's been a great journey for Worldwide. It's a great part of Embry-Riddle, a solid part of it, and more so during this pandemic, because we had the online and the worldwide and the way we developed everything, we had an easier time pivoting to this remote delivery that we had to do because of the pandemic back in March. And then in May in the summer, we had all the students across all 3 campuses. They were taking courses through Worldwide. We took the faculty in Prescott and trained them through our Center of Teaching and Learning to prepare to teach an asynchronous course online for 9 weeks. The students came in. We had 1,900 students from Daytona and Prescott taking classes in Worldwide. So during that May term, during the height of the pandemic, we had over 10,500 headcount students taking courses, continuing their education seamlessly during that time. And it's because we have this balance of what Worldwide was in support of the residential campuses, delivering the same quality of education in a different modality than teaching face-to-face. And I think as we go forward, the world has changed. The new normal is going to be different. And I truly believe that online technology enhanced delivery of education and in the workplace is going to be different going forward, using all the technologies that we have. And we want to continue to remain in the forefront so that everyone that graduates from Embry-Riddle, whether it's graduating from Daytona Beach, graduating from Prescott, graduating from Worldwide, graduating from Singapore, graduating from Brazil, they're getting the same quality education no matter the modality of it. So, I congratulate everyone out there and thank everyone that's come back to our virtual homecoming. It is a different time, but I appreciate everyone that's on the call today, on the Zoom today, and I hope that was informational. And now I'll stop and give it back to Keith, and maybe we can have some dialogue and chat about what it is. And as I say, 31 years, I've got a lot of institutional history if you want to ask some questions.
Well, first, Dr. Watret, let me first thank you for taking the time out of your day to educate us on the 50th anniversary of Worldwide, and where it's gone and where it's heading. It's a very exciting time. So thank you for taking the time to join us and to lead this great discussion. We do have a question from Amir. Let me try to, it's kind of lengthy, so give me a second to. Hi, this is Amir, BSAE and MBA from Daytona Beach campus. I have traveled globally and had opportunities to meet with several universities. Noticed that numerous had formed formal alliances, including exchange student programs with North American colleges and universities. Are there any initiatives by the leadership at EREU to further and ink such alliances / collaborations with the academic institutions or even training centers of the international flag carrier airlines? I believe Georgia Tech and others have etched such alliances. I do remember Sierra mid-2000s ERU was looking at setting up alliances with academic institutions in the Gulf countries, especially the UAE. And
then we had ventured into UAE many times, into with Dubai and Alain and others in the Gulf region there. But at the same time, we were looking to we were talking with folks in Singapore as well. So it was the Middle East and Abu Dhabi and Singapore. Singapore came through quicker. So we partnered with Singapore. And when we first entered Singapore, that was a partnership with Sim University of Singapore. So we went in as a partner with another university, and we do still have an education partner in Singapore that we're working with to deliver our courses. You know, it also, when we look at Brazil, you know, we're very aligned with the airlines, with Azul, GOL, LATAM. We are delivering an aviation management certificate to the employees of those companies, and it brings them together and networks with them. So that there's a good relationship there. We also have relationships with many other institutions, other universities around the world, with Salford University in UK. We're looking to work with Cardiff University. We've got Amsterdam Institute of Arts and Sciences, Wits University in South Africa, all providing support with aviation on that. From a Daytona Beach and Prescott, there's a lot of internships and things that work with Boeing. We have a big relationship with Boeing and other aviation manufacturers, and also the airlines that provide in it. So we do have a way of going in and supporting those industries as well. And many of you out there, and many of our alumni are key parts of those companies going forward.
thank you, Dr. Watret, and thank you, Amir, for the question as well. And then, Bill. Oops. Looking at our success with our astronauts and our alumni in the space industry, do we envision that Embry-Riddle Worldwide will have the first lunar, our space campus?
That'd be great, wouldn't it? But I don't think I'm going to be around to do anything part of it.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, you will. You will. And then Kathy, she was on our call last night, so thank you, Kathy, for joining us. If my memory is correct, I took history of aviation at a remote campus in Nuremberg, Germany in 1976.
That's probably true, because I think we had at one time 20 locations of military US military locations throughout Europe. We're down to 14 now, but yes, Nuremberg, we were down there, so you probably did. So thank you.
That's it. Does anybody else have any other questions for Dr. Watret? And I think it's remarkable, Dr. Watret, to see where we've come from just in that short time. 50 years is not that long. And to see how we advance, and especially within the later tier of the years, making those advancements so quickly. I did my undergrad from 2002 to 2005, and towards the end of it, I took a couple worldwide classes, and I still remember getting the padded manila envelope with my VHS tape in it. And I'm like, what is this? I don't have a player. So I had to go get one. So this took me back a little bit to hear all that. Oh, we do have another one. I'm sorry. Great. Considering the changing circumstances that Dr. Watret mentioned, does he anticipate adding some of the residential campus degree programs to Worldwide?
Well, we already have been doing that, actually. That's that close collaboration between the residential campuses and Worldwide. Over the years, we've started adding those degree programs to the online environment, such as communications. We've got aerospace engineering, the master's in aerospace engineering. We've got homeland security. So we've been taking that content and putting it into an online platform and be able to deliver it out, and we'll continue to do that. And I think we'll see more of those programs, and the outreach for those programs is so important to do that.
Are there more campuses planned for other locations in Europe?
Yeah, that's a good question, and it depends on where the military are, because part of the being in Europe comes under what's called the Tri-Service Agreement for the military, and that allows us to operate, and we're invited through the agreement to operate in the U.S. military locations across there. Now, depending on how the troop movement and the staging of them, we've opened some, we've closed some, and we move depending where the need is. 2 years ago, about 5 years ago, it'd be coming up to 5 years ago, we bid and won the PACOM contract as well. And that is the same thing, is to deliver education to the US bases in Asia. So we're in Yokota, Kadena, we're in Osan, Fort Humphreys in Korea, and Misawa. So we're able to do that. And again, we're looking to expand. We may go to Guam and others in there. And it's the same in the US. We'll depend on where we close some and we open some, depending on where it is. We just opened a location in partnership with Airbus in Mobile, because they're building up the assembly of the A220, A320, and they're growing their workforce down there. They want to have a workforce that's in the aviation, or an understanding of the aviation aerospace industry. And so they built an education center as part of that campus down there. And so we are their education provider. So that's another location that was opened up because that industry need happened in that area, and we were invited in.
Awesome. Kathy chimed in again. 2 of my brothers earned degrees from Worldwide while continuing their corporate pilot degrees. Where are you, family? This is my 40th class reunion year, and I'm actually glad that it is online.
Excellent. Well, congratulations. 40 years. That's memorable.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Kathy.
Thank you.
With the success of Worldwide campuses in Asia, Europe, and South America, are there discussions for one in Africa? I think you alluded to that a little bit.
Well, we're partnered with University of Wits in South Africa, and that's for our master's program, our MSA program. And those students take, it's a dual degree, so they take half the credits, about 5 courses from Wits, and take 5 courses from us. And then we transfer in and they get the degree from Embry-Riddle. And actually, it was interesting, last year, graduation in Seattle, we had one of the students traveled from South Africa to participate in the graduation ceremony. And so that was great to see. And that again, that young man was as excited to be part of Embry-Riddle and just to be around the other students that graduated from there. And he was the first one to do it. So, so again, it's where that aviation cluster is, the growing clusters, and you know, the US and Europe are the current, you know, the major clusters of aviation aerospace. But the emerging clusters are of course Asia, and that's why we're there. The Middle East, we're working through some of that to see what we can do. We can do a lot of that online now. South Central America was an emerging cluster in terms of that. And you know, Africa is. I mean, Africa is a large continent. It's aviation, and also actually drones and unmanned aerial vehicles are going to be important in Africa. So that's another area. So we keep looking to see where it is, and we don't rush into just opening for the sake of opening and sake of growing. We want to have a proper business plan that's going to make it viable for us and viable for the students.
Still got about 15 minutes, okay. So Amir, it's Amir again. How about North Africa or East Africa, which is a major cluster too as compared to West Africa?
Yes, we have Morocco. We've spoken with folks in Morocco because I know there's a growing aviation cluster in Morocco doing some stuff there. And they're also an ICAO center. So we are now an Education Plus partner with ICAO. And so we'll be starting to deliver courses through as part of that partnership. And the first ones with that partnership are going to actually be in Thailand on aviation cybersecurity, and that will expand out to other regions within the ICAO network.
Great. Okay, there are no questions. There are no questions. Any other last minute questions for Dr. Watret? Thanks, Amir, for answering your questions.
Keith and John, I'll ask a question directly, if I may, John.
Okay.
John, when you started your career at Embry-Riddle, did you envision it to be where you are today?
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, when I first came, you know, I came from the UK to Texas A&M to work you know, as a to do my master's, and I was going to do my master's and then go back to the UK. But then life took a change, and I enjoyed what I was doing and stayed on for a PhD. And the work I was doing actually was working with Dr. Jay Walton, who was my advisor. He was in aerospace engineering, and he had a joint appointment in aerospace engineering and mathematics. And he ended up being on the team that looked at the Challenger accident, the O-rings, because my research was in viscoelastic materials, and the O-rings were viscoelastic materials. So I got to work on that with Dr. Walton, and that's really, I was always interested in aviation, but then that really got me interested in aerospace part of it. And so when I finally graduated from Texas A&M, I was going to be a faculty member. I mean, and aviation was the interest. So that, you know, at the time, back in '89, Embry-Riddle was hiring, and here I am. And I was, you know, happy being faculty member and teaching mathematics and engineering type programs. But, you know, life takes a change, and you start learning, and your interest, and then going into administration took a different turn. And you know, I've been fortunate here at Embry-Riddle. I've been able to do many different jobs across the time, from the faculty member to the administration and across the institution. So you know, it's always been an interest in where the next, you know, some doors close and other ones open. It's a true fact. And so I enjoy it. I enjoy the aviation industry, and it's great to see where Embry-Riddle is going, and it's great to be part of it.
And actually, Embry-Riddle is so fortunate to have you part of it, quite frankly, John. So that's always been a great
Thank
part
you.
to this as we look at the growth. I've got to ask a more personal question, which is there any place in this world you haven't been to yet?
The only continent is Antarctica. And that's on my bucket list. I want to maybe to step foot in all 7 continents sometime.
Very good. Well, I'm going to step back and give it back to Keith, but thank you, John. Those are great answers.
Thank you.
I learned a lot today. I've been with Embry-Riddle a long time and our alumni. I learned a lot today because there were some things I was not aware of. So thank you so much for sharing. Keith,
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. Appreciate it. Yeah, I agree with that statement, Dr. Watret. It's definitely, we are very blessed to have you a part of this organization and for what you've done for us. So appreciate that. And thank you again for taking the time. No new questions have come through. Kathy, thank you. Thanks for your time. I know how complex organizing Zoom meetings and webinars can be. Thank you for understanding for my malfunctions in the beginning. So but we made it through it. That's how we do it. We keep moving forward no matter what gets in our way.
Thank you, Keith. I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure as always, Dr. Watret, but thank you everybody for joining us on this call. Also, please be on the lookout for upcoming rest of the week activities hosted by your alumni engagement team. We have an action-packed week all the way till Saturday. So please join us. Look forward to seeing you the rest of the week. Until next time, thank you all. And remember, you're forever an eagle.
Thank you.
Bye everybody.